I need to have normally I don't even have this up. I don't even use this. Normally.
Really?
But the things is just too much, bro. You sent me like
you're like, hey. I was like, you asked for information. I said, here you go.
I was like, I said, okay, text me a abridged version. No, I'm joking. I loved it. All right, so what I'm gonna introduce you. I love the vibe already, man. We should just started. I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna talk to this one. You got that one there.
Okay, so I look at that one.
That one is the double. Yeah, you can look at that one when you're doing your.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want? Is this?
I think closer. Yeah, I think yeah. But then you project a lot, so
okay.
I think you're probably right there.
Yeah, I should do project.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. No, I'm loving it, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah. So, welcome back, guys. I'm here with none other than Dr. Chaii. Doctor, welcome.
Chaii, my brother.
Bro, it's so good to finally meet you. I've been following you for a while. I was telling Dr. Chaii that, before I even met you, I was like, I've seen so many of your videos and I find them so entertaining. So, before, or actually after you watch this interview, I really want you guys to follow the links, follow Dr. Chaii, and go and check out the social medias, Instagram. There's a lot going on there. And I'm telling you, you're going to have so much fun. Honestly, you're going to enjoy it.
Bits and bobs.
No, it's great. It's great. But aside from that, we're here to talk about the music. It's not just entertainment. We're here to talk about the music and just essentially all the amazing things you are doing, my brother. So before we talk about the music, because let me give you guys a hint, right? This guy has worked on so much music with so many great artists, Grammy nominated, by the way, right? Zimmer winning, won so many awards, worked with some of your favorite artists, produced some of your favorite songs that you wouldn't know, from Chris Brown to Sean Paul to, I think, some Spanish artists, some Latin music as well in there. And I see you doing a lot of stuff. So, guys, you need to stick around. I've got my iPad here because I really have to read. I don't normally read stuff. I kind of want to feel like I'm in the moment, but I have to read because there's 100 things I have to talk about.
Listen to this guy. Okay. That was a hell of an intro, man. Thank you.
No, bless, dude. I'm trying to do you justice.
I appreciate that.
I'll do my best with that.
Thank you, brother.
So we're also gonna play a lot of your music as well today. And not many songs, but I want to play the songs that mean the most to you. And you can share with us that journey as well. And just kind of tell the audience, okay, cool. What does this song mean to you? So I'm excited. You guys can tell already by the energy. This is going to be fun.
Excited.
We are excited.
As a unit, we're excited.
Super excited. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let me try and bring you back before we go too far ahead, because I'm excited to talk about all the things that you kind of done. But I want to talk about your humble beginnings. The humble beginnings of how you actually started making music. What inspired you to make music, man?
That's a good question. I think when I was growing up, just around the house, my dad would always play all kinds of music, from the Beatles to Thomas Mapfumo to just Coldplay to Earth, Wind and Fire. I always grew up around music. And then my mom would always be in the Shona choir at church and that sort of thing. So music was just around. Then my two older brothers would be Biggie and Tupac and absolutely. Everything. But when I started making beats, before I was an artist, I looked up to a lot of producers like Timbaland, Pharrell, the artist producers, because those were the producers that were big at the time, And so when I was in school, I was like, one of my friends, this was in grade 5, I remember, in Zimbabwe, we had show and tell, and everybody else came to class and they're like, yeah, this is the holiday I went on with my family. This is the, the scrapbook I made. And he was like, oh, this is a beat I made, and started freestyle rapping in grade 5. I said, hey.
What he did?
I said, what's that? He was like, it's a beat. He was like, I made the beat. I was like, what do you mean you made the beat? He was like, yeah, my brother gave me this program called Fruity Loops. I was like, bro, you have to give me this program. Yeah. I remember he gave it to me on a floppy disk, bro. It was like,
how many does you have to put it in?
That's insane. People won't know anything about the floppy.
No.
Bro. And so he gives me this program, and for the next couple of years, we were just obsessed with learning how to make music, to produce. When our friends would go out and do stuff and maybe play soccer, we'd be at home on the phone learning to make stuff and just sending each other beats. And that's how I started, bro. So I was always around music, always in the marching band, always in the choirs, but production started very early, just messing around. And it was a hobby that became, my first love.
Wow. No, I mean, honestly, dude, that's an amazing story. I mean, you started so early, and I'm glad that you found your passion so early. It makes a massive difference, right? And I started making music quite late. I'm talking about late teens, and my journey was singing first. songwriting, and then production afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like reverse.
It was a complete reverse. And it was like, oh, I'm singing, but the songs that I'm hearing don't sound anything like what I would like them to sound like.
Yeah.
And then you sort of start doing your own mad little thing. So from that moment, grade 5, starting off making music, where did you hone in? Like, because you've done a couple of, like, a lot of different genres, right? And one of the things that I find as artists is, we try and think, oh, should I pick a lane or should I play around? One of the things that you mentioned to me, and I think when I read in your bio, it says, you are someone who's very interested in the cultural intersections of music and culture. So as a person, like, how do you work that into your music? Because I've heard it, but for those people that haven't heard it, how do you play around with that? Like, how does that go about, that creative process?
Yeah, I think for me, bro, and it's like, I'm sure you remember this, that like growing up in Zim, for us, the MTV and the music stations were just so borderless as far as genres go.
Absolutely.
You'd be on Channel O, on MTV, there'd be Britney Spears, then there'd be Mafiki Zolo, then there'd be Christina Aguilera, then there'd be 50 Cent, then there'd be Ja Rule, then there'd be some choir from some country you've never heard of. And you just consume and you watch all of it and you're just getting bombarded with so many different cultures and languages and places. So I didn't really grow up thinking of genres in that sense or thinking of music or styles in a traditional sense as boxes. It was just more, I always loved just seeing different styles and different inspirations from different places. So when it came to then creating music, I would always just follow the clues of what sounded good to me or what did I like or what's that North Star of what I was used to hearing on TV. And I think a lot of the producers that I look up to, like Timbaland, for example, is my favorite producer of all time. Shout out Timbo.
Legend.
I said what I said.
Yeah.
And he would always fuse like Arabian flutes with like hip hop drums and maybe get a choir from India and mix it with like a Baltimore bounce. And I just thought that was so cool, and just how pulling from different cultures would just, it's like painting with different colors. And I just always found that so inspiring. So when it came to making music and producing music, I just always am so excited by what are the possibilities of blending different worlds. It's like when you meet people and you say, if one day when I meet a guy from China, who knows what he's gonna tell me about that isn't a part of my awareness or my experience. And I just think that's something cool that you get to do with music that is probably my favorite part of the creative process.
Yeah. I love that because Timbaland is one of my favorite producers.
Really?
100%.
Right?
Dude, have you heard, there's a song that he made and he actually used Oliver Mtugudzi's sample.
Yeah, I heard this.
The song.
Someone sent it to me.
And I remember hearing it. My brother's a DJ, by the way. And he's like, yo, listen to this song. And I was like, straight away, you can recognize that. That's a Tuku kind of guitar. And it's like, oh my days, is this legit? Or did someone kind of try and do
like
something?
Is someone playing a practical joke?
And he actually overlaid. And I was like, wow. But that's the legendariness of Timbaland. That he can, like, who would think that Timbaland would be hooked up to Tuku?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's from all the way. And this is way back when, by the way. But Tuku, Oliver Mtukudzi, a legend, a Zimbabwean legend as well, may so rest in peace. Great performer and a great songwriter in general as well. So, fantastic. Okay, so moving, I think one of the most powerful things that you mentioned there as well is that Timbaland, I think his longevity is outstanding.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And when you tap into cultures, things that change, things that evolve, there's always so much, right, you can learn about a culture. But if I was to say, for example, because listening to your music, and I know that this is maybe, I don't want to put you in a box. I hate putting people into boxes and labeling them because somebody always asks me the question, what genre do you make? It's a tricky question. But if I was to say, can you tell me which is the most, the genre or the country even, right? You mentioned the artist, Timbaland, the most influential.
Yep.
But what genre, or you can say what country has been the most influential in your journey, in your artistic journey? What do you think?
I think the way I look at it, I'm more influenced by eras.
Okay, gotcha.
So when I look at hip hop, I say hip hop in the 2000s. I love and what that did for the fusion of hip hop and pop music. So it's like Timbaland mixing with Justin Timberlake and Nelly Furtado. And then when I think of pop, I really love the pop of the late 2000s, and then I love like the One Direction and that sort of thing. But I think culturally and just sonically, I'm really inspired by African textures, sounds from home. Amapiano now, Afro. And then, obviously the Tuku and the Thomas Mafumos and that sort of thing. But I just love pulling from different places. So I think it's just, painting with different colors from different places. But I would say anything that really reminds me of home in a weird way.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's textures, it's just different kind of grittiness to play with.
No, I think you're great. I love that approach because I think when you approach music from that perspective, you can never run dry.
I think so. And it's interesting to your point. I think especially now the genres are bending so much that it's so difficult for me to separate between where Afro starts and where pop ends and where Zim dancehall starts and where, this ends and vice versa. And I think I find that I love playing in the gray areas of all those places. So a lot of my favorite songs are ones where it's a mix of pop but with the Indian, or a mix of Afro but with the dancehall, or a mix of, and it's just, you get the opportunity to create and be inspired by something that sometimes doesn't exist at all, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, no, that's superb. That's superb, man. So I think, for the audience, you probably listen to us thinking, these guys are just talking so much theory about
They're
music.
just yapping.
It's just, I don't understand what they're talking about. So to give you guys a better understanding of what we're talking about, I think we should listen to some of your songs.
Please.
And I've tried. But guys, I've tried to pick 4 songs. I told this guy to send me a few songs. And I'm looking.
You asked me for songs. He said, yeah, we're going to be preparing. He said, I said, say less. I said, ping, 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 ping. Here's the material, okay?
I was about to block you. I said, let me just block this guy so he doesn't message me anymore.
I said, this is what you asked me for.
Like, no, it was fantastic. It's perfect because he gives me so much to go on. But having said that, I tried. When you're trying to create a mixtape for your girl and you got so many songs you're thinking about, trying to create a mixtape for you guys to give you a good idea of Dr. Chaii and who he is, and trying to give you a good overall kind of shape and vision and kind of, sonic vibe. I've picked 4 songs that I hope you guys are going to enjoy. I'm sure you're going to enjoy them. But I picked the 4 that are slightly different, and that'll give us a slightly different feel to the different things that you do. Because I can hear so many things, and I can see exactly why you're a songwriter. Because I hear so many, when I listen to music, I'm like, oh, I hear this artist, or I hear this influence, that sounds, and that's an amazing gift.
Thank you, bro.
So one of the songs that means a lot to you, one of the songs that we're going to play first, is one of the songs, I think, If You Love Me. Right?
That's my jam.
Yeah, I love that song. It's got great visuals to it. I love the song. Tell us a bit about that. Can you intro it for us? What does that mean so much to you?
Oh, man. If You Love Me is one of my favorite songs. Yeah. And is an important one for my own career and for my own life. Because just to your question about bending genres and mixing things, If You Love Me was inspired by, I'd heard a Sungura guitar, and was listening to a lot of different things and was thinking, okay, what genre from Zim could I sample and infuse with Afro or piano that would make sense? And when I bumped into this guitar sample from the song, it goes, I lost my voice yesterday. Yeah. But you get the picture. You get the picture.
I get it. Yeah. By the way, he was singing all the time when he came in. I was like, save your voice because you need it.
I should have saved it. And I heard the Sungura guitar. I was like, oh my God, this is sick. This reminds me of Macheso and things we grew up on. And I was listening to a lot of Amapiano at the time. So I was like, what if we made it 113 BPM, which a lot of piano was at the time, and put Amapiano drums to it and see how that starts to swing and add a log drum. And then it started to turn into this, it started to sound like Amapiano, but Afro poppy. But I was like, oh my God, I started getting excited because I'm really inspired by the guitar. And so just already off the bat, being able to infuse those different things and those genres. And I was listening to a lot of Ashake at the time, a lot of gang vocal things. And, I grew up in church, grew up in choir.
Yeah.
So any opportunity to make yourself sound like a choir, I was like, I haven't really heard that in Shona necessarily, and mixing Shona and English. So that chorus is really special to me because of having the opportunity to try that out.
Yeah. And
then I think more lyrically, the song just means a lot to me because I get to mention my parents' name in the song.
Oh, wow.
Which, shout out to my parents, Naomi and Freeman.
Shout out to the folks.
Mama and Debbie. Yeah. My parents have been so supportive throughout my career.
Amazing. And
it was just a cool moment to be able to shout them out in a song and then to see that song played all over the country and played all over radio, but they're hearing their names and it's like, Tambai Naomi na Freeman, no need a reason. And it was just like
that. Yeah.
And so there's a lot of really, really special, magical things about that song. And, I could go on forever, but I'll tell you one more because
please.
I'm proud of this one. This song made me feel like Shakespeare. This is made me feel like Shakespeare. This
I
one.
believe that. Yeah.
So the song's called "If You Love Me,"
Mm-hmm.
and biblically, you know, there's a verse in the Bible that's like, "If you love me, take this cup away from me."
I heard that lyric and it confused me a little bit. Please explain. So I thought this is the biblical verse. But
You're
this
like,
song is a love
wait.
song. Is this okay? Please explain that to him. I'm glad you brought this point.
So I just, you know, even though it's like upbeat and, you know, with these club songs, you don't have a lot of room to play with lyrics and to add a lot of words.
Yeah.
I'm just always trying to find the most interesting things to talk about and to find depth and layers in the songs, even if it's not that much to say. So, you know, Jesus is like, you know, take this cup away from me when he is going to the cross.
Yes.
And I just thought that was such a deep thing in life, just like sometimes when life is heavy and burdensome and it could be anything, you know, from anything to relationships, to finances, to mental health, just people go through a range of things. But then the double entendre of when you're in the club and you've had a little too much to drink and you're like, if you love me, take this cup away from me. Please don't give me another one. And I just thought that was so cool. I just thought that was great.
Okay. I thought, okay, he's going to give us a Bible verse that leads into something.
You know, just reel them in with some depth.
No, European. Because literally, you guys, when you listen to this song, I was listening to that part and I was trying to get it. I was like, I'm trying to decode this. I'm glad you explained that.
Like,
but
wait a minute.
That's powerful, man. No, I love that. That's playful because within a song that means so much and it's got depth. And then you bring in that kind of, it's like I said, the double entendre. It's so interesting because it's a deep, deep verse.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's kind of Christian background, you know it as soon as you hear it. And then for you to spin it like that is very interesting. I'm intrigued, and I really want you guys to listen to this song. So we're gonna play it together. We're gonna listen to it right now, and we're gonna react to the song as you watch it. So, guys, this is "If You Love Me" by Dr Chaii. Let's check it out.
Cheese.
It's Dr. Chaii.
Okay. Oh, if you love me, take this cup away from me. All of this is so you go drain my energy. You give me patience, but I know if be waiting.
Oh, if you love me, take this cup away from me. Or don't.
Or don't. Yeah.
Oh, if you love me, take this cup away from me. Your body's so fine, me love your waistline. You and my red wine, me know have your waste time. You been on my mind, you with the star sign. I'm in the grapevine, call me on the FaceTime. No need a call sign, I'm feeling your vibe. When you go online, me that one rewind. Your body's so fine, me love your waistline.
Dr. Chaii the magician. Unza cutting, you know which one. We'll have to wind up a mission. Go down,
flex for no reason.
let's go to switch up position.
Tune. I know you want to dance. We can move this table.
Don't.
No need a reason.
No, it's dope.
Thank
I love
you,
the
bro.
video as well, by the way, man. Love the video.
Thank
Very
you,
dope.
man.
Yeah.
But to go to Mbari for it.
Yeah.
This is where my mom grew up, actually.
Oh,
so
see?
it's double special.
Yeah, absolutely. My mom grew up there as well.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah, she think.
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Small world. They probably know each other as well. Is
But
it?
I mean, honestly, the way Zim works, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, if you love me, take this cup away from me. Baby girl, I wanna love you.
What a fun day that was.
I can imagine the filming was just, just playing around about it and just kind of,
It was just guerrilla style.
Oh, yeah. I
We
love
got
that.
there,
Yeah.
Fantan showed us around.
Really?
He was like, okay, so, this is, give us a reminder, we'll take us around Bali with us.
Yeah.
And it was me, came and we produced it. And Yaya Good Vibes came and she was the lead. You know, a couple of other people. And we were just going around in Bali, finding places. People were letting us into their houses.
Oh, for real?
It was random, bro.
Wow.
It was the most beautiful experience.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah, I'll
dope,
never
man.
forget that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
magic.
Ah, that's lovely. Nah, guerrilla filming is always fun. Just fun. You pull out so many things that you'd never
Yeah.
do if you had a proper plan, isn't it? So,
True.
Yeah. That's good.
Now, this is a special day.
I love the tune, man.
Thank you, bro.
One of the oldie.
Yeah, classic throwback.
Classic throwback, yeah.
Banana. Matamatika banana.
Wow. Dope. Dope. Oh, there we go. Still good.
That was the actual energy on the day too.
I could tell.
It was a crazy day.
Yeah.
Everyone was in a mood.
Oh, man. Wow, man. Wow. I mean, it was nice just to kind of watch that video and you walk me through how you filmed it, in Bali, where your mom grew up.
Yep.
Coincidentally, where my mom grew up as well. They probably know each other.
Small world. Knowing Zim, they definitely do.
Absolutely right. So, yeah, man, I love that video. You were just explaining that, it was a guerrilla style to those that might not know what that means. It means you basically you're with your camera, you're moving around. It's not things particularly planned. Whatever happens. It's all vibes. It's all vibes. I absolutely love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. So that's a great song. Now, one of the things that you always say, your mantra, and I hear this all the time when you're, minister of enjoyment, right? I want to get into your philosophy about music because all your music is a good vibe, right?
Thank
it's
you,
a good
bro.
vibe. And I felt at the moment that we met, like, it's just lightness. I mean, I love it. Can you tell the audience what's the meaning behind the minister of enjoyment? What does that mean for you?
Thank you for asking that. And bro, for me, one of my gifts, I feel like in this life is to share joy and positivity. And I feel like joy is one of the gifts of God,
Absolutely.
And I think when you're a child, it's so easy to access that. You're outside, you're in the playground, you're having fun with your friends. And joy just has a certain way of taking care of life's problems. It's like, It's not necessarily to say that things don't go wrong or that things aren't challenging, but that there's a certain frequency that says, I'm still going to try my best to have the best moment even in the difficult moments and to enjoy life for what it is. And so getting older, I just thought it was just such an important thing, just despite life's going on, to always remember to be able to access your inner child and to access that person that's still joyful despite what you experience. And so for me, in my music, and a big part of my life's purpose is sharing that joy with people. So when I say minister of enjoyment, again, it's a play on the church side, but also on the political side because I take my office seriously.
I love that.
Minister.
It's a position in office.
This is a position.
I love that. Absolutely.
And it's that, to your point, it's like if someone is having a difficult day or difficult time and they either see me or they listen to my music or they come across me and for a second they experience that lightness that you're talking about or that joy that you're talking about, then I feel like my purpose in life is being fulfilled. So, minister of enjoyment.
Yeah, no, dude, you've done that for me already. Because, whenever you prepare for an interview, you prepare and you do all this kind of stuff. The one thing you're not prepared for is the vibe. You don't know because we never met before.
Yeah,
this,
it's true.
Right? And so sometimes you meet people and it's like, oh, bang, we just get along and it's great. But here's the truth, guys. Sometimes I've met people and it's like, yeah, the vibe's off, man. The vibe's off. And it happens. It happens.
It's just weird.
When you create a song sometimes, you go into a studio with people with good intentions. And sometimes the vibe just doesn't bring out the best in people. And then you're like, it is what happens. So,
it's true.
Yeah, I love the energy that you bring to your music. It speaks volumes as I hear it. Every song of yours is like upbeat. You know what I mean? It's not just upbeat, but it's positive in a way that I like.
Thank you, bro.
And I think, I'm gonna drop this in because you haven't caught this. Apart from the minister of enjoyment part, there's a different type of ministry, right? Ministering in the church sense would be healing, for example.
Yes.
Right? Now, you mentioned Dr. Chaii.
Yeah.
How does that play on that name, Dr. Chaii, the healing aspect of it? Not just enjoyment, but I think there's the doctor says something to me as well. Where does the doctor?
No, there is, it's two things. I think for me, I believe that music is the medicine. And that music is a medicine and just has the power to override our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings and just allow us to access and tap into certain emotions and vibes and feelings that maybe are challenging to do on our own. And so I feel like, with my music, when I think about what's the vibe that I want people to feel, what's the experience that I want people to feel, it's a positive one, despite everything that's going on. So I think music is powerful. I think, whether you're in the club or whether you're at home or whether you're in your car, it has healing properties. And I really do believe that because I think even in my own life, I've experienced some moments where there weren't really too many words to articulate something or there wasn't a chord that was enough to get rid of something I was feeling, but a song did or a lyric did. Yeah. And sometimes it's just knowing like, somebody else has experienced this. and they put it in a 3-minute song for me to just meditate on and to vibe to and to, and to carry you through whatever you're experiencing. And I don't take that lightly. I think that's an amazing blessing and amazing opportunity to have. I just think that's so cool. And then on the doctor side,
Please. This is another double
on the
entendre.
other
Let's
side,
hear it.
I didn't know I loved them so much. I was like, oh, double entendre. But
We got a doctor in the building.
got a doctor, bruv.
We got a doctor there.
But I was like really big into academia.
Okay.
When I was in school, like I did my master's, but there was a thought where I was like, oh, maybe I could do a PhD. I was like, I just thought I was so fascinated with it. And my mom always wanted a doctor in the family. So I was like, oh, Dr. Chaii. I was like, throw a doctor on the end,
Yeah,
Make the dreams come true.
You made it happen. You made it happen. Congratulations, Mama.
Thank
You're a
you.
doctor now. So
One's
that's
for you,
amazing.
Mama.
Absolutely, man. No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. What you said about music, being able to take someone out of whatever place they're in and putting them almost transporting you into a different place. I love that because I remember there were certain songs for me that really showed me the value of music. Even before when I really started taking music seriously. When I was, particularly maybe you might be feeling sad.
Yep.
And then a friend of mine gave me an album. And it was actually a gospel album. But this singer didn't say Jesus in it. Barely.
Wow.
Barely. And I was like, this is interesting, right? And I was listening to it and I'm thinking, I'm going through the album, and I'm thinking anyone could listen to this out to the album. I feel the message, I feel the vibe in the album, even though he doesn't say it outright, but it's ministering to me in a way that probably a sermon or words or even a person couldn't do. And I was like, so this person has put this song out for me to be ministered to, and I would listen to this album sometimes, just on repeat, just because it was just amazing. So there's a value, that I keep trying to say to artists, man, do not underestimate the value of your music. Don't underestimate what you can do for people. Because just because I can get it on my phone and stream it, it seems like it's easy. It's a cheap way of getting it. But what you do for someone internally, that's intangible. That's the invaluable part of it.
That's true.
So, I don't know how you feel about the current state of music, but let's just go on it a little bit. How do you feel about the current state of music and how I want our audience to kind of learn what music means to artists. And I also want, to educate the audience as well, you guys who are watching, to kind of see how much this means to artists like Dr. Chaii, artists like myself, because I'm an artist, that's why we're having this conversation. And also, hopefully, what it means to you guys as well. So I want you to leave a comment down below and tell us what music means to you. But you've told me a lot about what music means to you. But I want you to tell the audience some of the challenges and how you feel about the current state of music. Just from a commercial money. Let's talk about real facts here.
A couple of things, actually, because you mentioned a challenge just before that, too. When you're saying, just to go back to something you said, that you feel like artists need to understand the value of their music. And I think one of the challenges that, and this is something I discuss a lot of the time with my friends and with my peers and with my colleagues, with the way that the internet is and the world has become and things are so fragmented, sometimes it's hard to attribute value to your craft, one, when that feedback loop is so broken, where you just told me that you loved Missing You. And I had no idea you even knew that song. But you're like, this is my favorite song of yours to vibe.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I maybe put out this song and I'm just like, man, it's just going wow. I hope people like it. Maybe you're seeing the streams and you're seeing the traction. But there's no feedback loop sometimes of the real impact that your music is having out there on people, especially if you're not necessarily doing shows or maybe someone posts. But I think sometimes it's hard to really quantify and to have a grasp on, okay, those streams that you see, that those are real people and that there's somebody in London or in Sydney or in Morocco who's actually, this music is having the world of an impact on, So I think that's one challenge for sure, because, as artists, we're still people, we're still humans. And whilst you create from a selfless place, I think there's something for that affirmation and that encouragement to keep going. It's the same when a performer's on stage and you're seeing the way people are responding. You're getting that initial feedback from oh, wow, this is responding. People loving this. And then there's that energy exchange,
Yeah.
And so online, there isn't always that energy exchange that allows you to know okay, this is what's taking place until maybe your artistry hits a critical mass or certain place where that momentum is spilling over to those places.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you have fans and a fan base in places where the behaviors that's not even how they engage with the artistry. Maybe they're just bumping it at home. Maybe they're just on YouTube and just, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. And then I think financially, like most things, you know, I think the music industry is changing so much every day, whether it be because of AI, whether it be because of things to do with Spotify or XYZ, you know, post-COVID and touring. And I think one of the challenges that, you know, artists, the classic artist thing where you're figuring out what's the best way to monetize your music and the best way to attribute value to that. Because at the end of the day, as human beings, there's also an aspect of it that assigns the value of your artistry as attached to the money you're receiving.
Yeah.
And I think that's both healthy and unhealthy, you know, because initially, you know, you create from a passion and from a love, and, you know, that's not the reason you do it. But obviously, because it's a career,
absolutely,
there is a goal and a monetary thing attached to it. So I think that's, you know, balancing that and balancing art and both creative outcome and financial outcome is something that artists will always have to contend with and figure out as time goes by. You know, people always talk about Spotify and rates changing and this changing and just what's the best place for your artistry to thrive. And I think in my experience, what I'm seeing is in this economy, that's kind of different for everybody. And I personally love RUSS. I'm a big fan of RUSS and kind of,
dope.
you know, as a North
Amazing
Star
what he's
for
done.
independent artistry,
Yeah.
what some of those things can look like, you know, what, and just a big advocate for just transparency in music in general. And I just think what I learned from RUSS a lot about both value attribution and also where to find your North Star for finances in your own artistry is just that it looks very different for each person. And you have to figure out, you know, for some people, it's, you know, I need to go out there and start like getting a fan base based on shows because people love to see me and people love to see me dance and they love to see me connect. For some people, they figured out the social media thing and the content thing. And maybe that's, you know, brands and influencing and, you know, and I think it's figuring out a puzzle for and your own unique puzzle. And I think one of the challenges is that sometimes there's no example to go off. Sometimes there's no blueprint for, you know, if you do grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, you do your degree, then you go get this job. After 3 years, you're in this thing. And artistry is just not linear, you know. Sometimes you wake up and this person went viral. Sometimes it's like this. And it's just figuring out how to navigate that for your career personally. I think that's probably one of the more challenging things.
Wow, man. I mean, you said so much, and I'm going to try and unpack it because, you know, on that part there, I know artists who do thrive from sync licensing, which is great. I think if you can get your music in sync licensing, you're winning. It's an easier sort of like transparent, like you said, you get your check for your music being in a certain place. Streaming is, like you said, vague. You can't see what's going on with it. You know, some numbers are like, oh, I got so many numbers, but then depending on which country it is, might not mean the same value. The touring is one thing that's interesting. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I think the thing that I got the most from that, for me personally, is trying to define which is the best path for you as an artist. And like I said, there's no linear kind of plan to say, oh yeah, step 1, step 2, you climb this ladder, then you do X, Y, Z, and then you get to 50K or whatever. You don't, there's nothing like that, not like a career. And I think the challenge for artists is often being able to, I'm a big believer that in everything that I do, feedback is super important. That feedback loop. So when I put out a piece of content, what feedback am I getting from my audience? And one of the things that, you know, people in business always say is when you're doing something, do it quickly or fail fast.
I love that. I love
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely. So, you know, you need to test all these little things like, okay, if I'm good at songwriting, production, singing, and maybe performing, where really is my proper strength? Can I combine all those things to become one super strength? Or maybe is there one thing that really stands out when I get the feedback and say, actually, you know, my songwriting is much better than my performing. So maybe I'll stick to this. So, I mean, if you're an artist and you're watching this, fail fast, okay? Put yourself out there.
Fail faster.
Fail faster.
Fail fastest.
Exactly, right? And just keep putting yourself out there because you just don't know what's going to hit sometimes. You just don't know. Someone might pick you up and say, hey, we love your stuff. We want to put it in a movie.
Absolutely.
But you won't know until you put it out there. So put it out there, man.
Absolutely.
I love that so much. So thank you so much, man, for breaking out that piece of wisdom. I want to talk about, you know, you do a lot of stuff and you've done a lot of tours. And one of the things you mentioned is that one of the best ways for artists, maybe the most simplest way, to recoup or to get financially to a point where at least you understand what's going on is to perform live. You've had some amazing performances with some dope artists. And I've got them here. I'm going to scroll down a little bit because you were at Fireboy, that was in 2022. Apollo Tour, Seattle, amazing. Joeboy as well. I mean, like I said, I have to read them because there's so many. Right?
This guy.
Hey, guys, cut me some slack today, just for today, please. Yeah. Focalist as well, Amapiano, and that's in Harare, Zimbabwe. Awesome, massive venue there.
That was
man.
a time.
I mean, yeah. How was that experience for you? And how did you get into that first of all? And how was that experience?
And I think first question is how I got into that is just, I think at some point when I was putting out music, I got invited to do like a club show. And I was like, I'd never done anything like that before. I was like, oh, okay, but I love going to the club. So I was like, okay, club show. I was like, I've seen people in the booth do the thing.
Yeah.
I think I could do the thing.
Yeah.
And so, bro, I go to this show and it's an amazing night. I get behind the mic and, you're just doing what you've seen people do. If you're here to have a good time, then you say, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, yeah. I was like, oh,
Feeling the feedback is
I was
live.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of just being able to connect in real time with other humans like that, because I care about people and I love connecting with people. And I hadn't had the opportunity before that really to connect with an audience in real time. And just that feedback loop we're talking about is like, you say something and it's like, bah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, wow. So are you feeling it? You're feeling it. And you're like on the same vibe and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just like the biggest high of some kind of, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, wow, this is special.
Yeah.
And I remember even just like people maybe DMing me after like, wow, I love the show, love the this. Not even necessarily talking about the music, but just maybe the vibe or like, oh, your personality or this.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, so people can connect with you for not necessarily the songs. It blew my mind.
Wow.
Completely
Amazing.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so then I just, really became passionate about doing more shows, about performing. I think when I look at a lot of all the artists that I look up to and a lot of the artists that I love, they're amazing performers for one reason or another. And so for me, I just, that's something that I always wanted to get into. Didn't really know what the path would be. And again, it started off being clubs. Then a lot of the Afrobeats artists started touring in America, which was amazing because then, there started to be a place for my music and the music I make to have an outlet. So I did the Fireboy and I did the Joeboy, which was incredible. But the Focalistic one that you mentioned was back home in Zim. And when I tell you that, I mean, sharing the stage alongside him, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's an amazing artist.
But to your point about the feedback loop from before, there were thousands of people here, bro.
Wow.
And it was at, I'm forgetting the name. It was a Longchen Plaza.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on stage. I'd just come from South Africa at the time. I had no expectations for what was going to happen. I just knew we're rehearsing.
Yeah.
We're learning our dance moves. We're doing our cardio, our choreography. we're getting our points. We're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on stage, bro, and people singing word for word of just songs that were deep on the EP. I was like, where do people know these songs from? I was so confused. At some point, I was like, is anyone getting this on camera?
Have you got like one of those prompters, teleprompters?
Are we seeing this?
So they can read.
I was like, what is happening? And that was such a special moment for me, bro, because I think in the timeline of my artistry, that was a big point of encouragement and a big milestone to perform in front of that many people, but also realize that, wow, like there's this many people who are responding to the music in that kind of way. So that was a magical moment.
Oh man, I love it, man. Yeah, every time you speak, I have to kind of go back and touch on something you said earlier because you say so much in this short space of time, which is fantastic. About, I want to say when you started performing at the clubs, one of the things I'm a big believer in just always saying yes. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it's not yes to everyone and everything, but if it's new to you, if you're in a field like you're working, before you think, oh, can I do that or am I capable of doing this? You won't know until you do.
Yeah. For sure.
And so for you to just kind of go, maybe it's not my path. Maybe I didn't see that coming, but okay. Yeah, I'll do that. And then you said yes to that. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, I'm actually liking this. This is going into something else.
Yeah. How do you feel about the live show aspect? Do you enjoy more the studio side or the production side? How do you feel about performing in front of people?
You know what? So, take me back. Thank you for asking that question. That's a good question. I love, interestingly, I've got conflicting feelings about performing. I'm always nervous. I don't know how you feel about performing.
Really?
I'm always super nervous before I perform. But and by the way, I play sports as well, competitive. I've played at the national level. And I always feel slightly nervous. And I'm like that's a good feeling for me because I know that slight nervousness for me, they say it's a good feeling because it shows that you care about something that you're doing as opposed to being completely blasé. That's what I've heard from some people. I'm always slightly nervous. But once you get into it and once you start singing, I get completely lost. So I started singing in church, right?
Really?
And that's how I found my vocal. It was funny because the reason why I started singing was I would be singing along to songs that everyone else would be singing about. And I wasn't like, I can sing better than that. No, I didn't say
Yes,
that.
you were. Yes, you were.
I wasn't even that good. I was not even
you're
that
like,
good.
I'm coming for the
He
throne.
knows me too well. Nah.
Coming for the throne.
Praise the worship leader. Give me 1 year. Yeah, dude. No. My mom is watching this, bruv. Come on. Oh, man, it's. I tell you.
Praise the worship leader. Give me 1 year. Woo! Yo,
We talk about leaning your
that's
path.
hilarious. Oh my God.
Nah, dude. Honestly, nah,
Bro.
that's not what I said.
Oh my God.
But I was just in the crowd singing, yeah? And I was like, I remember saying to myself, I literally remember saying this prayer, right? You're laughing, but I wasn't that good at singing at that point. But I could hold a tone. I knew that I had good ears. And I always think the ears more important than the voice. And I remember thinking, I can hear what I'm singing inside, but I want it to come outside.
Yeah.
Because I can't shout because my voice is I'm not that good yet to sing how I really want to sing. I really want to express myself in a mad way here. But if my voice can't hold the note, can't do it, right? And so I would continue singing privately, like when I'm doing stuff, just singing all the time. And then I would hit a note and I'd be like, oh, how did I hit that note?
Yeah.
I'd bring my phone out. I'd be like, let me try hit it again. And I would struggle a little bit, but I would practice and I go, oh, I hit it now. And then I was like, okay, so you do have the capacity to improve here.
Yeah.
Gradually that improved. And then so I'm a big believer that practice, is the thing that really makes you more than talent. As long as you can work at something.
Agree.
Talent helps, but practice is like 80% of it, I think, personally. So doing that, and then I learned, then one time I was singing and we were in a prayer room or something of that sort. And the prison worship leader heard me singing. I made sure I was close to him. Almost like a clash, a clash. I was like, yeah, bro, I can hit that note too, bro. No.
I'm also here.
No. This sounded so bad, man. You know what I mean? This should have been,
It's like drumline, but
it.
worship leader style. And yeah.
I'm here. No, but all love, genuinely, it wasn't a competitive thing, but he heard me singing. And he's like, can you join the choir? Because you can. So I was singing back up for a long time. We always had more than one praise and worship leader anyway. So it was never like, who's the best? And eventually, gradually became praise and worship leader. And then that's when I really kind of fell into my own, when I'm now directing people to say, oh, I want you to do this. I want the drums to go here. I want it's sort of when that. So I really love that aspect of performing live because it gives you that feedback. Oh, okay, this chorus is supposed to go once, but hey, the crowd is singing it still. Hey, play the chorus. Play the chorus and just the drums. Let's just go. No keyboards, just drums and people singing. It becomes tribal and really, you know, when you talk about people back in the day who were just, you'd get into a trance and you can just play and sing for hours and just dance. It feels a lot like that for me performing.
I love
Once you
that,
get
bro.
into it, you get lost.
Yeah.
And it's like a high, like you said.
Yeah,
it
it
releases
is.
something.
It is.
So I love that. But then, I also love the songwriting, the production, the quiet time when I can actually sit and actually kind of go into myself. Because I'm more of an introverted person naturally.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's a stranger.
That's a shocker, actually.
It's actually, when I did the test, it says I'm more of an ambivert, but I lean more towards introversion.
Is ambivert the one that's in
In
both?
in between. It's
Okay.
in between. It's close enough because everyone's surprised when I say that I'm more of an introvert. It's more about how you get energy. I get depleted by being around more people.
Okay.
I can get myself up for an event, but then after that, I'm like, I need to.
You're like, I need some time.
Guys, please let me sit in the corner for 2 minutes, But no, so I love that part equally as well.
Yeah.
If I was to choose one, I'd say, which one do I prefer? I prefer the creation part because that's always fun for me because discovering something new is something I really enjoy. So yeah, man, thank you for asking that question. No
Of
one's
course,
ever asked
thanks
me
for
that.
sharing that, bro.
I appreciate that.
I love
appreciate
that answer.
Yeah, man, thank you so
That's
much.
deep.
We're going to play a song now because we promised these guys we're going to give them some songs. And we're going to play one that's, you mentioned performing with Focalist was an amazing thing. And one of the things that I like about your music is that you do go into different genres. This next song that we're going to play is kind of an Amapiano song.
Yeah.
MC Hammer. Just give us an intro. By MC Hammer.
So MC Hammer is an Amapiano song. That was the first time I included Shauna in my music. So that was a big deal for me personally.
Oh wow,
I
that's
wasn't really sure. I didn't really know how it would be received. I didn't know what me rapping in Shona would sound like. You know, it's a touchy one.
So, yeah, Tocky still.
It's like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But I just went for it. And, you know, I love what's going on with Nigeria and the identity and South Africa and the identity. And I just always felt so strongly about the Zimbabwean musical identity. It's like, obviously, it's going to be fused with some stuff from next door and so on. But MC Hammer was just, to me, the perfect fusion of just the piano, but with things that I like from Zim. At the end, there's a chant again, just like If You Love Me. But this chant is like, Kati bounce, bounce. And it's actually from a high school in Zimbabwe, you know?
Oh yeah, okay.
And I can't say the high school because it's different to the high school that I actually went to. But
high school rivalry is serious.
You know,
I get it.
So, but it's like,
I get it.
bounce, bounce. And it's like, so there's the high school chant. And I just thought it was just cool. And so MC Hammer, for those that don't know, was a big artist back in the 90s.
Oh, massive.
Right?
Massive, yeah.
And so he used to say, there's that song like, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, can't touch
Classic.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just thought, what would that sound like if it was now and it was Amapiano? And I just thought maybe he'd go, ooh, 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 can't touch this.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. And you know, and then it just
Love that.
became the thing. And
Yeah.
so that one was one that I absolutely love. And I got to shoot a lot of the content at home for it. I got to promo it at home. And it's just, you know, it was amazing to pair that type of song with the visuals from home. I got to collab with a lot of influencers, a lot of content creators back home, and was a song that opened a lot of doors for me for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Production is fire.
Thank you, bro.
Right, we're gonna watch that video. The video is also dope as well.
Thank you.
We're gonna watch MC Hammer, guys. You guys are gonna love this track. So here we go, MC Hammer. I could hear so many artists on this song, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because what I actually heard was Costa Tich. Really, when I heard this, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the biggest inspiration. I love Costa Tich.
Rest in peace, man. But yeah, he's dope artist, man.
Yeah, one of my inspirations for sure.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Big
I hear
ones.
that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about yeah, how you write for other artists and learning about that system, that process. You know?
Boys, the good don't get a machete by force. Dealing with the best, of course. Down seven, come and never drip that sauce. Say she want the best, of course.
Time is so weird, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like this was
Dr.
last
Chaii
year
area.
in like
263 in your area. I'm the
August,
guy
I
with the
guess.
body
Really?
people and
Something like that. Maybe like May, August, I don't know, December around there.
Yeah,
It's weird watching it. Wow.
it's like oh yeah,
How
so
just in Zim.
yeah.
But now it's a year ago. It messes me up sometimes.
It's a year
The
ago.
passage of time
Hey, it's fast. So many things can happen just in that small
What?
second, isn't it? Hey,
trips me out.
absolutely.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Yeah, MC Hammer.
Reading content in Zim is funny because look at these guys just. Well, one would be eating bread. One would have his drink. The other guy be like, "You want to use the car?" Shanti? He'd be like, "Thanks, bro." Now here in this car.
Hey, this guy, you're doing donuts in this car.
Bro, it just doesn't feel like what it looks like.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like there's so
Oh,
much
it is.
friction involved.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, man.
Yeah, that was the time.
Fire.
Thank you, my brother.
I actually want to play this from the beginning. This is so funny.
Classic.
Yo, man. Yo, I love that, man.
Thank you,
Touch
bro.
This MC Hammer.
I appreciate
Dope,
that.
dope, man. Nah, it's lovely. You mentioned that Costa Tich was one of the big inspirations for that.
Oh yeah,
Rest in peace, Costa, man.
100%.
But yeah, he's a dope artist, man. You know, I wish we would have seen him do more still.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I never got to see Costa live.
Really.
And I was bummed about that because the reason he was one of my big inspirations was I love injecting fun back in music and people dancing again because, you know, like the Missy Elliott and the Aliyahs back in the day and people would
Oh,
just
yeah,
be having a
always
good
had to
time.
be, yeah.
Like what Chris Brown does as well. But I just loved Costa Tich having dances with him, doing his things. I'm a piano, he's rapping,
gangster, man.
but he's dance. So much energy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just something that I loved so much. So
No, he's
rest
dope.
in peace, Costa. But
Absolutely,
that was
rest in peace,
definitely
man.
a big inspiration for MC Hammer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can definitely hear him on that because you know, I was actually thinking about one of the things I was going to ask. Actually, might as well is when you write a song, you've written songs for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
When you write a song for someone, how does that process go? Do you start off and go, I'm just writing a song, or do you go, oh, I want to make a song for this person? How does that work out?
That's an interesting question, bro. Honestly, it's a bit of both. So what happens when you're in, I call it the pitch side, which is this idea of pitching songs to people.
Okay.
And so sometimes what happens is a brief will come in and you hear, okay, who's an artist?
Chris Breezy.
Say Chris Brown is working on it now, bro.
Yeah.
You said that quick too.
I've got
Who's
it.
an artist? Chris Breezy. I was like,
That's what I'm like, yeah.
so then you might hear, okay, Chris Brown's working on an album. This is the sound he's going for. This is what he's inspired by right now. And the album's coming out in November. And so this is information you might get from like fellow songwriters or your publisher or your manager, whoever it is that is your source into whatever's happening in music. So then based on that, I would then say, okay, what do I think Chris would sound good on based on what this brief is? Now it's a bit of like a educated guess because you're trying to guess what is also half in someone's mind because you're thinking, okay, what would he sing? Is that a lyric that person wouldn't say? Or is that lyric too playful? Is this kind of song something you'd say? Does he have songs that like this before? Has he used this title before? Is this something that resonates with the stage in life that he's in? You know, if someone's in a relationship, maybe they don't feel like singing about heartbreak or the club or the certain thing. So you're kind of trying to tap into what that person's world is, you know? And then the other side of that is, so that's the side where a brief comes in. And then the other side of it, sometimes there's artists who I personally love, who I just are on my bucket list of, I would love to write a song for or produce a song for. So they're always in the back of my mind for, you know, that sort of thing. So you're always writing for certain people, always like, you know, kind of, I'll be like, oh man, you know, I think this would be a cool so-and-so song, you know?
Yeah.
And then you write it and you make it. And that's the reverse way where you just say, okay, this is what I think I would like to hear that person singing.
Yeah.
And then you make it. And maybe because of your artistry, they like it. Or I think one of my rules is if you like it for you as an artist, there's a high chance that another artist will love it. Because if you're willing to stand behind it in your own brand and in your own artistry, then it's already going to be to a certain level because this was a hill you were willing to die on. Whereas sometimes if you're writing from the point of view of, oh, what do I think that person would say? It's like, you're like, kind of like, oh, maybe they'd say this, but it's like, you know, so it's a little bit of both. And it's I've had success both ways. Yeah. And I think it just depends on the artist and depends on the season. But I love writing and producing for other people. Yeah,
no, I can definitely hear that. I mean, it's an incredible gift to have because, you know, it's one thing to write music for yourself. You know, I feel like in some ways, that's a little bit easier. I don't know how you feel. Because whatever you do, it doesn't really matter. You're not having to craft something to someone's taste. So that having to be judged, and as an artist, one of the things that you have to get over is how we're going to judge it. And this is like literally, I'm making this thing. I'm going to spend so many hours, maybe weeks and months on it, and I'm going to give it to someone to judge it and take the feedback and then have to fix it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's fine. You go away and, you know, like I said, sometimes it becomes a great thing somewhere else. I've heard so many songs that were turned down by some other artist.
Yeah.
And then somebody else takes that song or that person performs that song and it becomes a hit.
It's true.
So you can never say, oh, you know, it's one thing or the other. So thank you so much, man. I mean, that's great. And, you know, you're so blessed and talented to have that as a gift.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, because I think sometimes as well, the temptation for artists can be, you know, I've got so many songs, I don't know what to do with them, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep them, like, you know. And so one of the challenges I think for artists is saying, okay, I've got so many songs. I probably won't use all of them. Yeah. How can I make the most of this? Because it's a gift at the end of the day.
Totally.
Yeah. How can I make the most of this by maybe giving it to someone who it would suit better than maybe even me? Because it's a good song, great song, but maybe I can't hit those notes.
Yeah.
And you have to be kind of humble enough to kind of say, actually, this is not my thing.
And that's the money, bro. I think that definitely requires you to lower your ego and definitely requires you to... There is something humbling and there's a humility aspect to giving someone something that maybe you crafted and saying, I think they would sound better than I would, or I think this, or I couldn't pull this off. Because I think you have to acknowledge that you each have your own unique gifts and voices and sounds and things that you contribute to the world. And sometimes you're not always going to be the vessel. And so the way that I was trained musically and the way that I see it is that we're all musical vessels. And so when you have an amazing song, the question is, what's the best vehicle for this song? What's the best vessel for this song? You know, there might be a song that is like you write an upbeat song and you say, okay, Chris Brown, for example. But maybe for this particular song, it's Drake or whoever. It's like, what's the most believable, the right vessel, the person who can pull this off the most. And I think that's something to always consider in writing for people, which is something that I love as well.
Yeah, no, that's powerful, man. I love that. Thank you so much for giving that gem because, you know, I think there's a lot of egos in the creative space, and certainly being humble. I mean, let's say there's a lot of egos. I've met a lot of artists who are completely humble, and it's lovely to see. So maybe that's not fair, but it's lovely that you can be so humble in your craft and just continue to create. Because as a creative, you really just want to get your art out there. Then,
Yeah, you do, bro.
You know?
At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. So I want to talk on this point, still on that point of, allow me to read, please.
Oh, the last time.
Yeah, but the last time, you know, I want to read some of your, you know, just a few of your music highlights because I think it's important for people to know. Because I want to talk about the collaborations, but we want to talk about some of the Grammy nominations that you've had. I'm going to just read out the highlights first of all, right? So, guys, 2 seconds, get comfortable. Dirty, right? Music highlights. Dirty reached number 14 on the UK official Afrobeats chart. BBC, Kiss FM, and Capital FM. I'm not going to play that song, unfortunately, but that song is amazing. I've heard it myself. Casanova, number 1 video on Trace TV and MTV Base Africa, featured on Spotify and Apple's biggest playlist, right? An amazing, amazing song as well. Jackie Chan, which we are going to play. The song is not only funny, it's fun, and it's a great tune. Bantu is a great performer. You guys have
My brother.
great chemistry. I want to hear more about that, by the way. But yeah, that's an amazing song. Jackie Chan, you know, when I watched that song, a lot of people were saying, you know, this is my favorite song on FIFA 19.
Yeah.
So we're going to discuss that. So check it out.
Shocker.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, shocker, yeah. So Winnie Harlow Rhythm, most Shazam song in more than 8 countries, playlisted on Apple's A-list Africa and Afrobeat hits. That's just a few, right? Now, I want to talk more about the awards part of it because, you know, I think the Grammy nominations, man, because I want to talk about the collaborations you've had, but I think it makes sense to play the songs maybe after we talk about the Grammys. How did that feel getting a Grammy? You got Grammy nominations for best, hear this, guys, best Latin urban song with who? J Balvin?
Yep.
Pitbull, Camilla, Cabello, right? Best compilation soundtrack, Familia, Nicki Minaj, and you're featuring Bantu as well. Best contemporary tropical album. Now, I want to know what that means.
We can find out together.
I don't even know if I can pronounce this. I'm not going to butcher this. But best contemporary tropic album. I won't even try and say the name, but you can tell me. Yeah, these are honestly so many people you've worked with. You've worked with Sean Paul, Jason Derulo, obviously Chris Brown. We've mentioned again, J Balvin and Camilla Cabello, and Chris Brown. I mean, dude, amazing! Congratulations!
Thank you,
on
brother.
the Grammy nominations,
Appreciate
man.
that.
It's amazing, such amazing work, man. How did it feel? How does it feel to just have this? I mean, because you're one of the most creative people I've met, and you've done so much. How does it, like in this space, like you said, how does it feel, man? Just to have me read this out to you, and just kind of reflect on this moment of like what you've been able to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal, to be honest with you. Sometimes it feels like you're like, did that happen? You're like, huh, that's weird. It's like it's like you're talking about somebody else sometimes, you know. And I think it's just such a humbling thing, and I'm so grateful for all those nominations because as much as there were goals and aspirations of mine, it's not really something that you can predict or something that you can decide. Like we're talking about the linear or lack of linear process of music. Like you can make amazing things and an amazing product all the time, but you don't decide what will get nominated and what won't.
No.
I'd never have guessed in my wildest dreams that a lot of those would be for Latin songs, for example.
No, yeah.
You know, and so again, I'm just grateful when I hear that for the boundaryless way that the industry is at the moment, for like being able to participate in the Latin music industry and like, you know, fuse languages and fuse different things and the opportunity to explore in those different ways. And so for me, man, it's just very grateful and very humbling, and it's just kind of, it's exciting, you know. It's like when I think about the little kid that was in school thinking about one day I'd love to be nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
The distance between that and this versus my goals now and where I am feel like a comparable thing. So it makes me feel like, okay, no, if this can happen and that can happen, then surely XYZ can happen. So, it's an amazing foundation, an amazing propeller for some of the dreams that I have still.
Oh man, if I took a picture of you right now and I took a picture of you and you were in grade 5, who would have thought?
Not him.
Yeah, not him.
Not
Fruity
him.
Loops, grade 5, floppy disk downloads.
Yeah,
learning.
not
probably,
him.
Probably composing songs using the keyboard, right? KJL.
Bro, 100%.
Yeah.
Or the mouse.
Yeah,
Just
unbelievable.
clicking away.
Passion, man. It must have taken ages to do that, by the way. So what I want to do, guys, is for the benefit, just for our fun. This is a bit of indulgence for me as well. I want you guys to listen to some of the songs that Dr. Chaii has produced. I had no idea that you have produced some of these songs. So I'm going to just play a little snippet of them. I'm not going to play the whole song, otherwise we'll be here all day, right? But I'm going to play just a little snippet of them, and I'm going to play a surprise. I'm just going to be like a roulette thing. Yeah? And we've already mentioned Chris Brown, so we're going to play that.
Okay.
Actually. And I'm going to get the volume up on this.
Roulette.
Yeah. I'm going to rush roulette. Here we go. Chris Breezy. Who knew?
Yeah.
Big tune, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
So you produced the song.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And how did it actually get to Chris Brown? How did that actually work?
This one was an interesting one because, like you're saying, different songs reach people in different ways.
Yeah.
And for this one, we had actually made the beat first. I made this one with my friend Beham, who's an amazing producer. And we made the beat together. And it had started just as an idea. Like, I thought, okay, what would it sound like if Chris Brown was on like a Zim dancehall type of thing?
Oh, right.
And it was like, goom,
wow.
goom, 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 goom. So mixing Zim dancehall with like the island and like, the different kind of textures, again with the fusion. And then this one was sent to, at the time for Chris's project, they were sending beats to like a group of writers who he worked really closely with. And then they would write and they were picking beats and that sort of thing. So they had picked this beat and were with Chris on the day, and they decided to write this song to the beat. So I never actually met him that day.
Okay.
And so we then went back and forth, like you get the vocals come back, you work on it, you send things back, you tidy up the beat, you're fixing parts, you're kind of arranging it based on, what the idea would eventually be.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that one happened.
Awesome, man. Love it. Fire tune. I'll play one of your other big tunes, right? Again, Russian roulette. You're gonna know this one. I'm gonna see if you can guess it. Okay, I'll give you a little clue. This song has over 1 billion streams.
Chaii!
Wow. Can you guess which song it is? Let's see if you know your music after all.
Musical history.
Musical history. Go on then. I'm serious. Do you know which song that is?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
would be a shame if I didn't. No. No lie. By Sean Paul and Dua Lipa.
Come on.
Chee.
Listen, guys. Like, honestly, big tune. Dua Lipa is an amazing artist.
She really is.
Sean Paul is a legend.
Give me some of that. Look how she at.
Fire, the production's fire.
Thank you, bro. The way you move, the way you do, baby you, baby girl.
I'm not even trying to hit that note. I'm not even trying to hit that note, bro. I've heard this song, man, so many times, and I was like, you produced it. Man.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, smashed it. Now, okay, we're just going to jump to the next one. Now, this one is a little bit of a surprise still. But it's this one's got Maroon 5, Bantu, Lato, and Young Blue.
Yes, sir.
I mean, geez, One Light. This is a fire song as well. This is what I mean by your genres, man. You're such a gifted person in terms of being able to produce so many different
Thank
genres
you,
of music.
bro.
Amazing. Big fan of Maroon 5 as well.
Life was an endless midnight.
The dancehall vibes.
Yeah.
Right? This one, yeah? I love that.
One night.
Wow. Fire, man, fire.
Thank you, sir.
I want to play something for some of our Latin American friends over
Hey.
there. And there's a few. I'm going to pick the one that I think is probably one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Like this production here, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, the way you played around with this, like this, every production, man.
Sing it up.
On this song, on the songwriting part, did they just songwrite themselves mostly? Did you have some input on the songwriting part of it?
Oh, so for this one,
Yeah.
it was an idea, and I wish I could play the demo.
Yeah.
It actually, the initial idea was inspired by a Wizkid song called Ojuelegba.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah.
Just a vibe of it.
Yeah.
And so it was initially going to be an Afro idea.
Uh-huh.
Then, and we had written the song, and it was always, hey mama, but it sounded more Afro. And then we found out that the Fast and the Furious soundtrack was being worked on.
Okay.
And so they had heard that version of the song. They're like, yo, actually, I think this would work for one of the scenes we have. It just needs to sound more like, I think the scene was in Cuba or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we stripped that production, kept the keys, and then changed it to more of like a reggaeton.
Yeah.
Because before it was like Afro was like,
interesting. Yeah. Love that.
and then so it was in English initially. And then when J Balvin got on it and Camilla and said this, they would translate some of the lyrics and like fuse different things. So that one is one that evolved and evolved and evolved. I think by the time it was in the movie, we were on version number 200 and something.
Wow.
No joke. That one was,
wow.
I think the song and the production that I learned from the most in the creative process of music in my career so far.
Yeah.
Just because you've got all these artists, you're figuring out how to make their tones match on the song. You're changing production. But the first time really I had the opportunity to cut production to film. So we went to see the scene for the Fast and Furious. Now we're changing the production based on like the chops and the scene and just that sort of thing. So it was a lot of stretching, but very, very rewarding.
Oh my days, man. Thank you so much for saying that, because the fact that you go through 200 edits to make a 3.5 minute song, guys, you listen to that. This is the effort that artists put into the music. And I love that you took some time just to explain that, because it is crafted for creating a specific emotion so that when you're listening to that music or when you're watching that movie, you're really in that moment. It's a soundtrack for life, man, in many ways. So thank you so much, man. That's a fire song. Now, there's one song that I'm not going to play on here. We're going to watch it instead.
Okay.
It's the one with your good friend Bantu.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are funny together. Like, this is one of my first clips that I watched was you and Bantu, and I think you're on a football pitch, actually. You remember that clip? You remember that clip?
We will be outside.
Yeah, you're balling. And I thought, man, this is so dope. And I think I started following you around then. So yeah, man, we're going to play this song with you and Bantu. This is the soundtrack to FIFA 19 as well.
Yes, sir.
So this is a fire song here. Can you just introduce the song for us? Jackie Chan.
So this is a song with my brother for life. We're best friends from forever ago. So, to be able to make music together is just such a special thing, because we met when we were 4 years old.
Wow.
Back home in Zim, our parents were friends. They put us on a play date. They're like, you guys, you're also now friends. Then this and that,
Yeah.
And so this was my first song as an artist, actually, which is why, again, it's such a special song, even just the journey and the process of it, and for it to end up in FIFA. And for it to also be Afro, but Afro swing at the time was a big thing and a big genre I was listening to. So this is none other than Jackie Chan by Bantu and Dr Chaii.
Let's check it out. Fire.
What attacked you? I got attacked. By whom? It all happened so fast. Just hold on one moment. Let me just diagnose you for the people in the back seat and the back row. Did she go swish? Yes. But what about here? Did she go swash? Hey! Did she go
swish, swash,
swash. Hey. You, sir, are suffering from from a serious case of what we like to call Tocky. But not to worry, just come with me. The Tocky. I have the remedy for you.
Hey.
Yeah. You know, this actually, I can. This has got a UK vibe as well too. It's like, love it.
Sweet, sweet, rush, rush. I hit her with the yes, I can. Real quick, right back. I know what I'm gonna do. New with brand new. So hit me with the Jackie Chan. Sweet, sweet, rush, rush. Girl, I hit you with the Jackie Chan. Ring, ring, ring to the motherland. Go up and we never land. Cash on me, call me beat up on. Got plans on deck. Don't play now when you read that text. You don't need your ex. Just touch down, I don't need no rest. Ooh, tryna slice it. Late night shop,
Hey.
This is fire.
Thank you,
This
bro.
is fire, man. This is fire. I know you guys have worked on quite a few songs together. Yeah. Bantu's on quite a lot of songs as well.
Lots,
it's,
yeah.
It's crazy that you
Did an
guys.
EP together.
Yeah. And you guys you're a great team. And it's amazing that you guys can evolve at the same pace as well. There's nothing better than seeing you and your brother, teammates, friends evolving at the same pace just as you are, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah.
So hit me with the Jackie Chan. Sweet, sweet, rush, rush.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
take
take
my
no
chance.
chance.
Another gorilla style video.
Oh, yeah?
We were just thugging it out in New York.
Yeah. So, this is just a dope video still, man. It's like, again, most of the videos I think are filmed, I watch them closely and I see the people around them. I'm like, I can see they're not they're not part of the scene. That's fun, though. I love that.
Yeah, it was a good time. That's how the gorilla video thing kind of started.
Yeah.
We were just on the subway. There's a guy sleeping in the back there.
Yeah.
We're just on it. Then we'd ask the guy to use their truck. Then we'd stop. Now we're filming there.
Wow.
Just like anywhere that looked good, we just stop there and just perform, you know?
And do you take the same director of photography, the same cinematographer? You try and,
This was our boy, JD2,
Okay.
who pretty much does everything. And
I can see that the look is very consistent.
Yeah.
And that's important, man. I love that. Your look is just, his cinematography, the coloring, the color grading, and everything else like that. This composition is fantastic. So you get to
Thank you, bro.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to James Davies.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he came to Zimbabwe one trip, and I gave him the nickname Jimalo. So shout out to Jimalo.
Jimmy.
Jimalo with the aloe.
Yeah.
So hit me with
That's
the
fine,
Jackie
man.
Chan. Sweet, sweet, rush, rush.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
take
take
no
no
chance.
chance. Oh yeah. Me, I don't do romance. Oh yeah. Me, I don't take no chance.
Yeah. Nah, it's a
Me, I don't
great
do
production. man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So, the thing I like about like filming in the city as well, there's just so much like dope lighting.
Yeah.
Dope lighting is everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, dope scenes, that man. Look at that. Love it. Jackie Chan, Bantu, and Dr Chaii. Thank you so much, man. That's fire, man.
Thank you, sir.
It's wicked. I love that video, man.
Thank you,
that
bro.
video is fire. The guerrilla style, and shout out to your director of photography. I like
Yep.
to call them. I like to call them that because I think it's a complicated thing that you guys do. So
It is. Yeah, I
a
don't know how
talent.
they pull it together.
It's a talent, man. So you guys are a good team, man. Love the consistency there with that production
Thank
as
you,
well.
bro.
And shout out to Bantu as well. Bantu, check him out if you guys are not following Bantu as well.
Yes,
Great
sir.
musician in his own right. So check him out as well. You guys are a blessing to have such a fantastic friendship, brotherhood.
Yeah,
That's what I
it
like
was
as well.
big blessing.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So now that we are getting to the end, and this has been a fantastic conversation, but we're getting to the
Yes,
end.
man. I've had a great time
Yeah,
with you, bro.
I'm so glad you have, man. It's always my thing is I want you guys to have a great experience, and I hope you guys have been enjoying this as well. So if you guys are not already following Dr Chaii, there's going to be links below here, right? And we're going to put all those links to the songs and the projects that he's also working on in the future. So let's talk more about that. You got a current project that you've currently released?
Yes.
Mwana, Wevhu.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll let you go
so
into it.
when I went back home to Zim in October, I started working on a project which would be my first album. And so I just released my EP, Minister of Enjoyment. And then the songs that I started to make were starting to, turn into like a sound, and something was happening. And I was doing a lot of collabs in Zim. And that became what is now my album that is coming. And the album's called Mwana Wevhu. And basically the concept is taking all the artists from Zim that I love, that I vibe with, that I connected with, and just making dope, global, Afro, piano, just whatever it is, enjoyment sound and it's kind of a love letter from Zimbabwe to the world.
Awesome.
And so this particular song, Happy Man, is such a special, special story.
Please go ahead and tell us.
So basically, during COVID, my grandmother passed away. And so, thank you, bro. You know, in COVID, people couldn't travel. And so I didn't manage to go home for the funeral. And so just like, you know, it was a classic COVID funeral, zoomed in on the funeral, you're watching the thing and you're listening. And I remember just thinking, wow, you know, at the time, just the audio and how some of the sermon was just so inspiring. It was deep. There was so much going on. And so I actually recorded it. And at the time, I just recorded the funeral just for me to remember. It was like quite therapeutic. I was like, you know, I could listen to it. You know, I loved the hymns and stuff. And then one day I was in the studio and I came across the voice note of Gogo's funeral. And then I was like, oh, why don't I sample this?
Wow.
And so in the beginning of the song, you hear there's a lady that goes, Shakanaka Kuapano, it's nice to be here. What you say in church back home, it's nice to be here. Shakanaka Kuapano. And then the song starts, Crossroads. And you know, it's like, especially in like the Methodist church, which is the church that my family goes to and my gogo went to, that's what they say, especially at like the women's fellowship, which is Ruadzano. So it's a special thing. And then the song is just, you know, it's a song really. It's not a sad song. It's actually a song about finding joy through life's hardships, through life's challenges, you know, that enjoyment thing of finding ways to weather the storms and smile regardless and be happy regardless. And so at the end of the song, there's the whole sermon and then the lady's just talking, but being able to get Tocky vibes in the song, who I absolutely love.
Dope Zimbabwean artist.
And I've been a fan of for a long time. And I just thought that he would just do justice to the vibe of the song. His music is kind of spiritual too. And he came on and did his thing with the verse. And when I sent it to him and he sent it back, I said, hey! I said, this is crazy. And so this song is special, man. It means a lot to me. And it was just an opportunity to celebrate the life of my grandmother, but also just the opportunity to tap into something real that happened to me in my life and make it personal in my music, which sometimes you don't always get the opportunity to do.
That's true.
You know, so this song is just a special one, man. So Happy by Dr. Chaii featuring Tocky vibes.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I think that's a perfect point to kind of just sign off on this one and just kind of, you know, just say thank you so much for showing up, man. My brother, thank you so much.
Can you, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Where can you find you for those that might look for you?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
for all my party people in the back seat and the front row. Find me on all social platforms. That's at It's Dr. Chaii. ITSDRCHII. It's Dr. Chaii. Come on.
Right there. We'll put it on the screen. Links below. And follow Dr. Chaii and listen to his music. I mean, honestly, you got so much fire music. I love what you said about that last bit of the song that we're going to listen to right at the end, because I've got a friend of mine who's just lost, a close relative of his as well.
Man.
And there's nothing better than, I say there's nothing better than, but in this time when it's so difficult to say something, there's nothing sometimes as powerful as a song that you can either sing by yourself or sing with other people. And it can lift you from that mood.
True.
So thank you so much for this. I'm definitely going to send this to him. I'm going to send you that song.
Please do, man.
Because a lot of people don't realize that when you listen to this song, the depth and the meaning behind it is so powerful. Brother, thank you so much again, man.
Thank you, Kim.
Such a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing what you're doing in the future, man.
The pleasure was mine.
Yeah, here we go. So we're going to finish off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe, like, and share it with someone who you think would enjoy it as well. We will see you again on the Artist Podcast next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Love you so much. Bye-bye.
It's Dr. Chaii.
Yeah, crossroad, do choice, mean I explode. Take time, then I reload. Money won't sorrow. This time with the borrow. Mean I wait for tomorrow. Hey, Baba. I've been waiting. I've been paper chasing. Just to locate me. Yeah, when I'm down on the low, keep a patience. Money way enjoyment. Let me find alignment. Only one assignment. Yeah. I wanna be happy, 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 happy. Happy, 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 happy. Happy, 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 happy. And I know look back and I know think twice, cause I did my part, my part. I wanna be happy, happy, happy.
Don't tell me that. Okay, perfect.
Happy. And I know look back and I know think twice, cause I did my part, my part.
engani moyitamskanzwa kona kapa basingandibhilive ikati matsha ende matsha ndiregei ndipise ndiri kuhina sekriketi vanonyura vachituhina vari wiketi ndangobhola kurova mawiketi shonda selatengwa matiketi saka ndiri happy 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 ndafamba negepi mufaro senge mwana ari
This guy said, Mufaro singing Mwana ari mu nappy. Like a baby in a nappy, man. That's brilliant.
happy 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 and I know look back and I know think twice cause I did my part I wanna be happy 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 and I know look back and I know think twice cause I did my part
Zvakanaka kuvapana.
This means a lot now to this place.
It's nice to be here. Ndinoda kukukwazisai. Mangwananana ndichikuchingamidzai. Nokuti ichave nguva of bringing closure in the grieving process so that many of us can move on. Although the scars remain.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you again, brother. Thank you again, brother.
Man, I've had such an amazing time, bro.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man. You made it so easy for me. Wrapped up. That's it, man.
Cheese!
We always end of the song. And then just kind of, this is my song. I'll let it play.
So let me let it ride.
Let it ride, bro.
Because I got the licky and you, my system.